What's up, guys? I'm EJ, and this is Kendall here, and today we're going to be doing our 2019 NBA redraft. Now, Kendall, I felt like our 2018 redraft video was one of our more popular videos, one of our more fun videos to do. And I thought it would be smart to kind of go back and look at the 2018 NBA draft and see which guys should go based on where we've seen them play this year, you know, in terms of how they've played and the rookie years they put on so far. And it's been a really great year for rookies. All these guys, a lot of them at least, have really showed out and impressed.
Yeah, a lot of guys exceeded my expectations. A lot of guys have come on late in the year. You know, if we would have done this the first month of the season, it would have looked a lot different than us doing it now. So this should be interesting because last year we had a deep class, and this year is equally deep.
Also, by the way, like your choice of attire here, Kendall. So there's no way to confuse who's sitting here to my left here. But we'll do the redraft. So real simple. We're gonna pick not based on any teams or where they are. It's just best players available in terms of how we're gonna do this draft. We're gonna alternate. I'll go first, then Kendall will go, and so on and so forth. We're doing the first 10 picks. So I'll go first, and my first pick is gonna be Luka Doncic. To me, he's a clear. Yes, he's a clear. I mean, it may be shocking to some of our Slovenian friends. Love you guys over there in Europe who have been bashing me for our Trae Young, Luka Doncic video. But I've always thought Luka Doncic was a really good prospect, and he's been tremendous this season. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's come in Dallas, taking the league by storm. I think what's impressed me most is how easily he's able to score in this league. I actually had some concerns if that would be something that would translate, but he's a better offensive scorer in the NBA than he was in Europe, which is extremely impressive. That step back three he has is deadly. He can do it all: pass, dribble, shoot. He's been tremendous, and I think that we're looking at what the Suns did with that #1 pick. Ayton's been great, but they might have some explaining to do with how great Luka's been his first year. So he's my #1 pick.
Yeah, at number 2, I'm going to go with the guy you just mentioned, DeAndre Ayton. Ayton, I was not super high on coming in. I liked Ayton, but I was obviously in the Luka Doncic camp all the way. But Ayton has actually exceeded what I expected from him this season. He's been extremely productive. It's been in an absolute losing situation. But I don't look at I won't say any of the losing, but I don't look at a lot of the losing and say it's on DeAndre Ayton. No. A lot of it, I think, is on the lack of a point guard. And I put more of it on the shoulders of Devin Booker, who's more of a veteran. But DeAndre Ayton has come in, and he's done his job. You know, he's given them more rebounding production than maybe I expected. Even some defensive production. I don't think he's ever going to be the, elite rim protector that maybe Joel Embiid is. But that's still an area of improvement for him. But he flashes the offensive potential that maybe someone like Joel Embiid has. And can I see DeAndre Ayton developing into a top 5 center in the NBA? I don't think that's without question. So that's somebody that I would draft in the top 2 or 3.
And if I was the Suns, I'd be happy that, we talked about his defense, but I actually think that he's played better defense than a lot of people expected. Right. So not nearly the liability he was made out to be when the draft came out. But number 3 is the guy I actually talked about in that Luka Doncic versus Trae Young draft video we did, and that's actually Trae Young. If you would have did this video months ago, he would have barely made my top 10. Yeah. But how he's played the last 2 months, he's been remarkable. A lot of credit goes to their coach and their coaching staff, and of course a lot of credit goes to Trae, who has turned around his shot. He was shooting miserably for most of the season, but the last 2 months he's been red hot. He looks like a guy that's figured out the league. Sometimes a talented player can come in, and just because of the speed of the game, the way the game is being played is a lot different in college. It just takes time to kind of figure everything out. But it seems like he's starting to figure out where he can get his shots, how he can get guys involved. And in this day and age in the NBA, you just need a dominant ball handler who can just take over games. If you don't have that, it's going to be very difficult to win in this league. Trae Young looks like one of those guys who's going to be one of the top point guards for years to come. He's electric. We know what he can do from behind the arc, but he's also shown an adaptability to get to the rim, too. He's just tough, man. He's a tough cover. I love the way he's played over the last 2 months. To me, he should be the second guy in the Rookie of the Year voting when they do the voting by the end of the year. So I got Trae Young as my number 3 overall pick.
Yeah, I didn't have Trae Young as high, but I think this season he has been the second best rookie. So I don't think it's crazy to have him in the top 3. I had Jaren Jackson Jr. next, going number 3 or 4, rather. I feel like I thought about having him over DeAndre Ayton because I think he, similar to how I felt going into the draft, probably translates better in this modern NBA than someone like Ayton does. He's flashed plenty of upside in his own right. I think his floor, because he's not as good as Ayton now, is lower than DeAndre Ayton. So I think Ayton would be a safer prospect to have on your team right now, but I think Jaren Jackson's ceiling is just as high, which I think he can be a top 5 player at this position. He flashes 3-point potential, something Ayton hasn't flashed, which has surprised me a little bit. But Jackson's a 3-point shooter, can protect the rim, solid rebounder, hasn't been as productive, but he's also on a better team than DeAndre Ayton is. So I think Jackson has ways to go, but I think he can be a very, very solid player in this league.
My number 5 guy is going to be Marvin Bagley, who was number 2 pick in the draft. So it's a dip. But to be honest, I have no beef with really how Marvin Bagley has played this year. In fact, I think similar to Trae Young, I mean, he really has played better and better as the year has gone on. We know he can do as a rebounder. We know he could do as a rim runner finisher. And his game is translated quite nicely in the NBA. I think what's been most impressive about Bagley is I expected him to kind of put up these numbers, but on a team that probably would win no more than 30 games. The fact that he's done it on a Kings team that competed for a playoff spot for the majority of this season, that he's been a winning type of player, a guy who's been important to what they've done all year, that gives me a lot of confidence that he's going to figure it out in this league too. I think he's been great. Defense can improve just like everyone on that Kings team. But Bagley's been solid. I've enjoyed how he's played this year, so he's my number 5 pick.
All right, yeah, number 6. I had Bagley next also, but at number 6, I've got Gilgeous-Alexander, point guard from the LA Clippers, who I actually had above Trae Young. But
wow,
I think Shai Gilgeous, he hasn't had the production that Trae Young has had. I don't think he's had nearly the leash that Trae Young has had, and I don't think that. And obviously his team is much better. So, yeah. I mean, I feel like, I don't know if he could put up the numbers Trae Young's putting up right now anyway. You know, I don't think if you put him in Atlanta, he's dropping 40. You know, I don't think that's going to happen, but I think he is a much better defensive prospect. I think he has high upside offensively. I don't think he'll ever be a 25-point scorer, but I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander could be an all-star point guard in the NBA. He's already proven that he can contribute to winning, something that, while Trae Young's played well over the second half of the season, and the team has been more competitive, I still wonder right now if he could be like a starting point guard on a playoff team. I think Shai Gilgeous, even though he's, not like they have a lot of guards in their rotation, he's proven that he can be a rotation point guard on a playoff team. That impresses me. Plus, like I said, I like his size, his upside, long term. I think he's going to be an all-star.
Shai's great. I love him too. So I get him being that high. But my next guy was, so where were we at? Number 7. I'm gonna go with Wendell Carter. Yeah. Wendell Carter. The injury kind of made him kind of disappear from the eyes of a lot of people. Yeah. A lot of people, especially that's when Trae Young really seemed to jump out and Bagley really started to play well. But I thought to start this year, I thought Wendell Carter was up there as one of the top 3 or 4 guys in this class. I still think he's had a really solid rookie year. He looks like a guy that's going to be a solid pro. He doesn't really have too many weaknesses. And I think even in Chicago, we've seen a little bit more from his game than we saw at Duke. He's going to be a solid all-around guy. I like him. I have him as my number 7 guy.
Yeah, this is where it gets kind of iffy.
I agree.
I don't really love any of these guys. I'm going to go with, this may sound crazy, but I'm going to go with Collin Sexton.
Wow, okay.
I think Sexton, a lot of it I'm relying on my pre-draft evaluation than it is what I've seen. But I still think he's shown offensive upside. He's been a complete negative. Him and Kevin Knox have been like the 2 worst players in the league by a lot of metrics. But I think he has proven that when you can score like that, I think point guards have a steep learning curve in this NBA. Young rookie point guards. And I think that's something that Collin Sexton will have to get over. But I think once he gets used to the NBA, can he be a guy that is like Eric Bledsoe, for example?
Right.
I think so. I don't think he's that far off of what Dennis Smith was doing last year. And I don't think people have given up on Dennis Smith necessarily. So I think Sexton, give him 2-3 years. I think he can be a plus guard in the NBA. I think he's got the skills, the athleticism. He just has to learn how to play in the right environment. Yeah. Cleveland is not that.
I got number 9 pick here. I got Mo Bamba.
I thought about Mo Bamba.
Little bit of a disappointing rookie year, but I don't think he's even played that bad. He's playing behind a all-star center, so he's not going to get the kind of minutes some of these other guys have played. But I think he's still flashed. Great defense, great size. He can finish around the basket, and we know what he can do as a shot blocker. So my stock is not that low on Mo still. I think that he was going to be a developmental prospect. So so I have him. He's in my top 10 definitely. So I put him here at 9. Who's your last guy, real quick?
My last guy,
number 10.
This is tough. I was choosing between 2 Knicks and an Atlanta Hawk, in Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, and Kevin Huerter, but I'm gonna go with Mitchell Robinson.
Okay.
I think Robinson has flashed the.
He was a 2nd round pick, so that's a skyrocketing.
Yeah, he's a 2nd round
stock
pick
right there.
The guy that he's a defensive savant.
Yeah.
So he's already proven he's an NBA productive player. He's already an elite defensive player. So I give Mitch Robinson that credit. And if he ever develops any semblance of offensive game, he could be a real threat on a contending team. So I'll give Mitch Robinson a nod here.
Kevin Knox, the guy on the outside looking in, he's been up and down this year. So I understand him not making this list. You mentioned Kevin Huerter, but another guy to keep an eye on has been Landry Shamet. I think Landry Shamet has played incredible this year, especially since coming over in the trade from the Sixers to Clippers. Yeah. He looks like a guy who's going to be able to score in the league. He's an excellent shooter.
Yeah. I think Huerter has all-star potential with his jump shot.
Right.
If he becomes Klay Thompson, that's high.
Well, even Kyle Korver, who became an all-star.
Yeah, exactly. So he's in there, but I think Michael Porter is another guy who he didn't have on this list because he hasn't played. But I think he's another guy that has all-star potential if he can ever get fully healthy.
Exactly. So that does it for this year's redraft video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like these kind of conversations, you could always catch some on our New Generation Sports Talk podcast. You can find that on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and TuneIn. Also, of course, make sure you subscribe to our channel, New Generation Media, like our video, comment on who you think should have been in the top 10 of the 2019 NBA redraft we did here, and of course, like our channel, video as well. But for Kendall, who you see right here, I'm EJ. Peace.